you're going to get the unique stuff. You're going to get the stuff with large acreage. You're going to get the stuff with multiple houses, guest houses, quality construction through the roof, real custom type of things.
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach Podcast, helping appraisers increase their efficiency, quality, and make more money. Here's the guy who makes it his life's mission to create value for real estate appraisers nationwide. Your host and the Appraiser Coach, Dustin Harris.
Welcome, everybody. Boy, man, it's been a long time since we've had an Appraiser Stories episode. We've got one for you today. I want to remind you we are sponsored by DataMaster. DataMaster, of course, coming up with DataMaster 6 rolling across the country. You need to get on board right now, folks. Go to datamasterusa.com for more information. We are sponsored by Working RE Magazine. Working RE is the place that I go actually daily to find out what's going on in the appraisal profession. If you care about what direction we're headed as appraisers, you're going to want to be a part of Working RE Magazine's email list. Jump on workingre.com for more information. Finally, we are sponsored by Alamode. Alamode, of course, is the software that I've been using for over 20 years, and they've been out there for more than 30 years, providing great software for appraisers to be able to do more and to have higher quality at the same time. It's Alamode. Go to alamode.com or 800-ALAMODE. Well, folks, we have a great interview for you, an individual that man, we've had a hard time getting together, Jeff. His name is Jeff Deichler. He's out of Western Massachusetts, and it's been my fault, not yours, Jeff. But man, I'm so glad to finally get you on the program. Welcome, my friend.
Yes, thank you. Glad to be here.
Well, it's good to have you here. Why don't we just start with maybe you just spending a few minutes here introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about why you decided to become an appraiser, a little bit about your business.
Sure. Okay. My name is Jeff Deichler. I cover the Western Massachusetts area, 4 counties in Western Mass, and 3 counties in Northern Connecticut.
Wow.
And big, pretty decent coverage area. Worked for a family business for approximately 15 years up until about 100 days ago.
Oh, is that right?
When I started my own firm.
That is interesting. When you say family, is this parents?
Yep. My father is the appraiser. Mom does the books. My dad's been an appraiser approximately 25 years now.
Holy cow.
I built the business with him and then started my own firm.
Now, is he still doing it? Did you just say la vie, Pops? I'm going on my own.
No, he is still very active, and he's still doing good at his age.
Very cool.
No issues. But I'm sure he misses me every day.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. I'm sure he does, especially becoming competent. I had that situation myself with my mentor for a while, where we overlapped territories a little bit, and I guess you could officially call us competition, if you will, competitors. But it didn't feel like that. We were thankfully blood is thicker than business. That's true.
We had our. We do consult each other from time to time on things, and it was one of those things that it was not the most comfortable thing to do.
Sure.
But during life, there, you reach a crossroad, and sometimes the little bird needs to fly.
Absolutely. That's a good way to put it.
Without getting any further into it, that's basically what happened, and
Wonderful.
Then. It all worked out. We're still talking, and I still go over for Christmas.
That's good. You're still invited to the Christmas table. That's wonderful. So you talked about a pretty wide area, Jeff. I guess the question that came up as you were talking about that is how do you handle that as orders come in? Or do you have certain days you go certain areas, or you just kind of find yourself all over the place all the time?
Yeah, I try to overlap, of course, like most appraisers do. If I'm going to Berkshire County, I'll try to do something on the way back or something out that way. That's an hour. One way, and I sometimes it doesn't always work out that way, but planning is key. I'm a firm believer in heavy inspections Monday through Wednesday, and office time Thursday, Friday.
Love it.
And into the weekend. It's been a proven system that I was taught years and years ago, and it does work. You need time to get the reports out. When asked about due dates, I'm 10 times out of 10. Requesting due dates on a Friday.
Wow.
Because
Sure.
those are my those are my office times, and I'm starting early, finishing late, those types of days, and particularly now with the new business, it's just as stressful as it was before, but now I have more work to do.
I hear you. So I got to back up to something you said earlier. I want to make sure that I understand. You said something about weekends, but then you said due dates on Friday. So are you working weekends, or are you getting them done?
Yeah, well, lots of times it will spill into the weekend. I try not to do that. I'm talking about if the due date is the following Friday. That's when.
Oh, gotcha.
I'll be working in the weekend to get ahead. Try to get ahead because lots of times I'm quite a good number of reports behind by the time Wednesday comes.
Right. Okay.
The slate is very rarely clear going into a Monday.
Well, tell me.
But, you probably know with the VA, the due dates fluctuate based on when they come in.
Yep.
Right.
I work VA. Yep.
Some of them are due on a Tuesday or due on a Wednesday or due on a Monday. I'll type those over the weekend.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, it sounds like you're a busy guy. Is it just residential? You doing commercial too, or what?
No, just residential.
Okay.
Residential 1 to 4, and it's kind of specializing in high end complex stuff out here.
Oh, that's right. Okay, interesting. Tell me a little bit about that. I've got some mastermind students out in that area, mostly Connecticut, Pennsylvania, the surrounding DC, Virginia area. Tell me a little bit about that area that you work, and I'm interested specifically. I think you just said that you work an area that, or you specialize rather in the high end types of homes.
Yep.
Tell me
Berkshire
about that.
County, Berkshire County, particularly southern Berkshire County and Litchfield County are a strong second home market area to many Connecticut and New York City buyers.
Mm-hmm.
So some of these towns are 75% second home owners. So you're going to get the unique stuff. You're going to get the stuff with large acreage. You're going to get the stuff with multiple houses, guest houses, quality construction through the roof. Real custom type of things. With larger lots and complete and absolute privacy. A lot of these towns. I call the land of hidden money because you're not going to see the subjects, of course, from the street. Of course,
Gotcha. Yeah.
One would expect.
Sure.
And these jobs, of course. You probably have done several of them. They take a lot longer, and they the one drag about them, even though if you can get the customary reasonable fees, is they do take time away from your regular clients. The last one I did, I probably had 8 hours in the field. And then it took me 30 to type it up over the course of 3 days.
Wow. I have similar types of unique properties. As you know, I work the Jackson Hole area of
that's right.
Of Western Wyoming, and very similar second homes and very unique, and a lot of time in those, but they're fun. It's interesting. Yeah,
they're good. We're talking about like things with really large private ponds. These types of properties are, very difficult to appraise and figure out, and they just take a lot of time. Even though I have a lot of experience doing them, they do take a lot of time, and that is the one drag is they do take time away from the regular client. But I don't get every one I bid on, and I'm fine with that. That's totally fine. If somebody out there can do it cheaper than me, then more power to it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great.
I'm not that guy. I'm never going to be the cheapest guy ever.
Well, and that's great. There's this encouragement that I've had over the last several years is that appraisers need to see themselves as professionals, and we need to charge accordingly. And it sounds like you've latched onto that, and that's the way you're handling your business.
I totally agree with that statement. And once people get involved in this type of work and these types of assignments, then over the years you quickly realize that your standard, whatever you're thinking is a normal number, it should be double that.
I love it. Add a zero, right? Move that decimal point.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. It's very, 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 very involved with all kinds of things in the report, and a lot of the addendum, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting, Jeff. Since we're on the topic, it's interesting how often we undersell ourselves, and we don't need to. Over the last couple of years, I have really boosted up my fees, and I'll be honest with you, it's been a little bit scary sometimes. I think I'm going to lose a client. I think I'm not going to get as much volume, and I'm surprised over and over again that it's not so much about fees to our clients as it is about quality. And I know that's not what you hear when you talk to other appraisers, and especially appraisers that work for AMCs, but even the AMCs, at least the ones I work for, they're A clients, and they pay me for my expertise. They pay me for my efficiency. They pay me for what they receive, and it's not all about the lower fees. And I think appraisers need to grow a backbone and be willing to say, hey, you know what, this is it's a complex property, and it's going to take me some time, and I want to be paid handsomely for it.
Yep. You'll get the typical response of why is this complex or this and that? Please explain further. It's really complex because of the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Many times it's not because of it's not because of the property. Many times it's not because of the property. It's really because of the time that it takes. And I think I learned that from you guys and from you was it should be and online and all these different sources when these types of assignments come up. People should be quoting them based on the time.
Absolutely, man. I love it. Absolutely.
Not based on, it's a 2,500 square foot in the middle of nowhere. Well, it takes you an hour and 50 minutes to get there one way. You got to travel to 4 different towns to find, the multiple comps and multiple listings that everybody wants, right? Just to get your pictures of driveways, right? But then you forget about the 15 hours it's going to take you to type that report. Geez, this isn't upload to the cloud, check the boxes, and send it out. It's not that easy.
What? I thought that's the way everybody appraised.
They don't accept that. They don't accept that.
I love it, Jeff. I love it. Yeah. And just to be clear to the listeners that haven't heard me go through this process of quoting based on time, we're not talking about quoting them per hour. We're talking about you figuring out per hour and then giving them they want a fee. What's your fee? Well, okay, you figure that fee based on the time it's going to take you, and based on what your hourly rate is. I love it, Jeff. Thank you.
That's right. And there are more than one way to explain that. There is more than one way to explain that to the client as well. Sentences like, although it might not seem like the most complex assignment, comma, and then you just keep going. This process is going to take me a full day in the field, 3/4 of a day in the field, and then minimum 12 to 15 hours to type this up. This takes time away from the other clients. This is a pink elephant. This is a property that is above the realm of normal course of business.
Love it. Appraisers take note.
And many times people, many times they get it. A recent job I acquired, he wanted to talk to me about it, and I said to him, "Are we going to be calling anybody else?" Because I don't, I would just come off the ski slope with my family, and the comment was, "If we're going to be sending out blast emails and all this other stuff." And the response was, "No, I reviewed your last one, and I want to talk to you specifically about this assignment."
Love it, man. Love it.
So I guess I was the go-to guy for that particular one. And I said, "Okay, let's continue. Now we'll talk about it." And then it went on, and I ended up locking in the job. It was fabulous.
You seem like a wise man, Jeff.
Well, I learned from my dad. I got to tell you, I learned a lot from my father. And the solo thing is all well and good, when you're going to the mailbox every other day and all this and that. But the camaraderie that you miss from having, dad around is a deal. It's a draw. It's a draw. And I'm only 100 days into this, and my business is at a complete crossroads as to where to go from here.
Yeah. Well, good for you.
So because of the volume.
Let's talk a little bit about your experience, specifically.
Sure.
You've had enough experience out there in the field and with different clients and different things going on as an appraiser. Tell me, I don't know, what's your most scary or disturbing encounter that you might have had, Jeff, or at least something you want to share with the audience?
I pulled into a foreclosure property over in Connecticut in a town that you would not expect to see a foreclosure property.
Okay.
And there was a big giant sign on the door that said, "I have a gun, I am inside, and I will use it." Big giant sign. As I'm walking up to the door.
Whoa, hold on. What did it say?
Quick, I have a gun, I am inside, and I will use it. This is one of those towns that they don't even have they have regular police, but like the state police is like the state police guy covers like 4 or 5 different towns. It's a town with not a lot of activity, I guess you could say.
And just to interrupt you for a second, Jeff, you do know that in eastern Idaho and western Wyoming, that sign is on every other door, right?
Yeah, I believe it. Not in northern Talon County.
I hear you.
That's not there. Or northern Talon County, but it's not there. And it's very Connecticut and Mass, the laws are much different, and that's one of those things that, beep, 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 back it up, get in the car and call the police, and they clear the house for you, and that was it. And that was that was a little nerve wracking.
Yeah, that would do it. That would keep your knees shaking for a while.
Another time I would pull up to a house in the middle of the city, which foreclosures are everywhere, in one of our local cities around here, bigger city, and pull up to the house. And I just recently taken my class for concealed carry, and the instructor always said, put the vehicle between, if you're in a car, put the vehicle between you and the problem. So I made sure I pull up on the right side, so that my vehicle is in between me and the guys on the porch. And the guy, reached out to me and yelled at me and said, "What the F are you doing here?
Yeah.
Who the F are you?" type of thing.
Right.
And I had my little Appraiser badge thing laminated around my neck, and I waved that up, and then I broke out the cell phone with the camera, and I said I work for the United States Department of Veteran Affairs. And the guy, they both ran off of there real quick. "We don't want to be in any pictures, man. We don't want to be in any pictures." And I said, "Oh,
you're like, I don't want you there anyway, right?"
Yeah, that's right. He says, "Just so you know, nobody lives there. Just so you know, nobody lives there." I said, "Okay, fabulous. Thanks a lot. I appreciate the info." And they, went on down the block. It was obvious that they were, hanging out at the vacant house for a reason.
Yeah. Shouldn't have been there. Shouldn't have been there. Well, you were smart. Smart.
Easy enough to, no need to get any altercations. And they just tell you how long it's been vacant and everything. I could have handed them a business card for crying out loud.
Well, I love that you had your badge with you. Let's lighten it up a little bit, Jeff. Something funny, something humorous that's happened to you.
Oh, I don't really know about that. I don't really have anything that good. I mean, it's probably, it might have happened to me just the other day. I went to the wrong house.
Oh, man.
I printed out number 15, and it was 51. So I'm not looking at the work order. I'm looking at the public record card. I'm banging on the door, and nobody's there. And fortunately, 15 and 51 were far enough away where the homeowner at 51 never knew that I messed up. And the guy at 15 never came to the door. So
okay. So you didn't actually inspect the wrong property then.
No, I got lucky. I started measuring it, but I didn't do it. I said something's wrong. This guy should be here. We talked about this time specifically. This isn't right. And then I figured it out.
Well, you and I talked off the air that you'd listened to pretty much every one of my my episodes on the podcast, and you probably just a couple of weeks ago remember me talking about an encounter I had where I guess it wasn't an encounter. It was an encounter with the wrong house, and I did the exact same thing that you did, or at least the office did. They transposed a number, and they were told that if they're not home, they would leave it open, and the door was open, and it didn't have one of those signs about the gun. But I did the whole walkthrough and everything, man. And it wasn't until afterwards that I found out I was at the wrong place. Not a fun thing to do. It happens though.
No. I did another one that said, the big sign on the front door that said, "No copper, don't bother."
Whoa, say that again?
The sign on the door said, "No copper, don't bother."
That's funny. That's funny.
People go in there and steal the copper.
Oh yeah,
money.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, somebody had posted that, and then of course you get in there and it's all ripped out. Everything's
geez. Yeah.
Foreclosure work these days is it's not what it used to be. I don't do as much of it as I used to.
Yeah, it absolutely is an interesting experience participating in foreclosure work. Another thing that's interesting, of course, in my life is dealing with great companies that allow me to be able to do more with less. A la Mode software is one of those. I've been using it for over 20 years, 2 decades, folks. Why? Well, I'll tell you, because they are the leader in the industry, and it's not just because they're the leader in the industry. They're the leader in the industry because they allow me to do so much more. I was on a coach call just this morning talking to somebody about their software, and one of the suggestions that I gave them was to switch to a la Mode. Why? Because it allows them to be able to use tools and efficiencies that you wouldn't have otherwise. Do I use them all? No. Of course I don't. But I'll tell you, the investment in a la mode is absolutely worth looking into. If you haven't already, pick up the phone, folks. Call them. They are very knowledgeable. Their salespeople are not just salespeople. They are knowledgeable technicians who really get it when it comes to software. What's it going to hurt? Pick up the phone, call 800 a la mode. You can, of course, jump on their website at alamode.com. Again, it's alamode.com or 800 a la mode. Speaking of talking to great people, I had an opportunity to talk to Datamaster just a couple weeks ago. In fact, we were on a conference call with several individuals at the headquarters there in Layton, Utah, and or as they say it in Utah, it's Layton, Utah, and had an opportunity to touch bases with them and kind of have them roll out what's happening with Datamaster 6. They showed me some amazing things that are happening with that. Folks, if you are not with Datamaster and they are in your area, what are you waiting for? Go to datamasterusa.com. Check their map. Find out if they're in your area. They're in a lot of areas across the country. And Datamaster 6, of course, is rolling out this year. By the end of the year, they should be rolled out across the country. But get in on Datamaster 1, folks. 30 to 60 minutes per report you'll be able to save by going to datamasterusa.com. Finally, we are sponsored, of course, by Working RE Magazine. Just this morning, I got an email from Working RE. I clicked on there. I learned about something that's happening in the appraisal world. I'm not going to share it here because it'll probably be outdated by the time this airs. But the great thing about Working RE is they're very in date. They are very up to date, rather, on what's going on in the appraisal profession. If you want to know what's going on, you need to find out. Go to workingre.com and sign up for their free email. And, some things you'll be interested in, some things you won't, but at least you'll have the opportunity to decide on a daily basis what's going on in your profession. Find out at workingre.com. Again, it's workingre.com. All right, folks, we are back. We're talking today with Jeff Deichler out of Western Massachusetts. I have to laugh at that just a little bit, Jeff. By the way, welcome back to the program.
Thank you.
I have to laugh a little bit when you say Western Massachusetts because I think the entire state of Massachusetts is probably big as one county that I cover in eastern Idaho. So little different circumference there.
You might be right, but to give you an idea, if you look at a map, 80% of the people in the state of Massachusetts live east of Worcester.
Okay.
So the city kind of in the middle. So most people live where I'm not. I'm out here in the western section
Gotcha. Okay.
Where only 20% of the entire state lives in all these counties.
No, that makes sense.
These 4 counties I cover here, and that. So it is in the grand scheme of things. I guess you could consider it suburban with rural influences, as I like to say.
There you go. Sure. Absolutely. No, that makes sense. I'm glad you painted that picture for us. All right, yeah. Jeff, so let's talk. You've been doing this long enough that I hope I'm not getting too personal when I ask you about your biggest failure. What can we as the listeners learn from your life?
I would say the biggest failure, without any offense, of course, to my family, would be not going to be a solo bird sooner than I did.
That's a hard thing to do, though, man.
It was very difficult to do, but it should not have taken almost 15 years, in my opinion.
Sure. Well, I hear you. So with that, let's counterbalance that a little bit. What's your biggest success?
The biggest success is starting the firm, my own company. Yeah, for sure. It's been very successful since the beginning, and we're pretty excited about it. But it is the home office is here in the house. And with a 10 and 6-year-old, it can get trying it sometimes.
I'll bet. I got kids myself. So for those that are listening that are kind of in a similar situation, Jeff, let's learn from your experience a little bit. If you don't mind, just digging in just a titch. What advice would you give to somebody who maybe it's not a family business, but maybe it's just, it's just working with or for someone else. And they feel you're like, maybe I should go out on my own. What is it that pushed you kind of in that direction?
What pushed me kind of in that direction was the fact that most clients, and as opposed to how it was in years past, most clients approve the individual appraiser rather than the firm, right? So if you're on somebody's list, they approve Jeff Deichler, the appraiser. They don't approve the company that I was working for. So with that being said, particularly the VA, you make a couple of calls to your regional loan center and determine whether you can jump ship and you'll still have them. it's really this, to be able to leave is all about your client base. If you have a good enough client base, like I had the VA for 4 counties. I mean, that's, 2 in Mass, 2 in Connecticut. That's a big starting point.
Yeah.
It's a good place to be if you're going to start on your own, right? Because the VA doesn't care where you work; they just care about you. So if you add on a few other clients like that, 5, 6 other clients that you can get on the list individually, and it's fine. But you have to be like an octopus. You have to have your hands all over the place to be able to withstand when the business gets slow, so you can get work from other places.
Let's talk about that a little bit. I want to dig into that. Specifically, I want you to get out your crystal ball a little bit and tell me where you see things going. A lot of appraisers have seen a slowdown recently, and I think some of them are a little bit weary of what's going on. What do you see happening to the appraisal profession in the next 3 to 5 years? And the bigger question is where do you see Jeff Dietschler in the next 3 to 5 years?
I see the profession at a turning point right now. That's where I see the profession. I see these valuation things and these waivers coming, and I see it as a turning point. I see, one thing could change and everybody's business could be affected, which is really disturbing. I also see myself personally as a business that is growing that could use an assistant or some type of help. But on the other hand, it is difficult to have that person here in the house all the time.
Sure.
So you're at this big crossroad as to how you're going to do it. It's not something that you can train somebody remotely to do. I would love to think that, every appraiser I know around here is buried in work. Most of them are very, very busy. So I think that business is good in my particular area. Business is good. And I feel for people around the country that are not as busy as me and a lot of my peers are. I don't know a lot of slow appraisers that are very slow right now. I don't know any of those guys. I can't, to me, there's tons of work. And remember, I'm in an area where there's not as many people live.
Right.
But you go east of Worcester and then there's more appraisers, of course, as well.
Sure. Yeah.
So there's more competition.
Absolutely.
And the fees definitely change but I like to try to stay positive about it. I'd like to, my goal has always been, when I started this business, was to outlive the profession.
I love it.
It sounds cynical and it sounds crazy, but I am not, and that also sounds crazy. I'm not encouraging either one of my children to be appraisers. I would like it for them to do whatever they think they see this job as taking over my life.
That's been their experience. Sure.
That's what they see. And when I left, when I was at my parents' firm, it was the same thing. I was always gone, and now I'm always gone, but I'm always here. It's like you're here, but you can't. You break your concentration real quickly.
Right. No, yeah. Here is not here. Yeah, exactly. I hear you.
That's right. You know what I mean. It's very difficult to try to balance everything. So it's all about the schedule. So certain things have to be put into place, boundaries and this and that, and timelines as to when Dad's available.
Right.
And it takes a drain on the family one way or the other, whether I work for somebody or I'm on my own. And my wife has a real job, and she tries to help out when she can.
A real job? Come on now. You have a real job.
She has a professional job.
I hear you.
She's successful, and she doesn't have the time to be the assistant.
Sure.
She's running the family, taking the kids to hockey practice, to lacrosse practice. Working her shifts at the hospital where she works. So it takes time for her to do everything. She'll go into work 13 hours straight overnight.
Yeah.
Doesn't come home till the next morning, and I'm making the lunches, and then she's up to bed. The kids are at school, and then boom, up at 2:30 picking up the kids. It's very hard for me to see all the work that she does, and then say, oh, by the way, I need you to log in these 4 jobs.
Sure. No, I hear you.
I don't want to put that. I try to keep that burden off of her as much as possible. I would rather just do it. I'll do it because this is like the only thing I do.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
It's very hard to walk the line. Let's just say that. It's very hard to walk the line between family and starting a new business, right?
Well, you and I need to talk for sure. You're not a member of my Appraiser Academy, are you?
No.
Yeah, you might want to think about that. What we're doing is trying to help individuals in your situation move from just being buried alive to the next step up, which is getting some help with some of these things and doing it cost effective. But you're a smart guy, Jeff, and man, I've enjoyed talking to you. Tell me one helpful tip that you might have for appraisers out there, something you've learned along the route, the path that you've traveled that might be helpful to someone else out there.
One of the things I would say is find a niche. That's one thing. Like my niche is kind of the complex higher end stuff,
right?
That nobody wants to do. Other people's niche is litigation work, right? Or divorce work. They have a broad client base of lawyers that they get private work from. That's a niche for somebody. Things of that nature that can, or specializing in foreclosure work, or whatever. Things that can add to the bottom line, and you're going to get the job more than the next guy. Because not everybody has the experience. Another thing I would say is don't be afraid to learn the different markets. If you have the right training, learning different markets is a great thing, particularly if you have a great mentor. If you have somebody that can help you. Our old office was on the Mass Connecticut line, so it made sense for us to go into Connecticut all the time. So years and years ago, I learned Connecticut. It was it's proven to be a very helpful thing as I moved forward in my career. Now it's 15 years now. I think that's a really good thing. It's not to be afraid to try to gather experience, because appraisers are getting older. They don't want to travel. They don't want to do that kind of stuff anymore. They don't want to do foreclosure work. They'll hit decline when that's a job that can be easily scooped up by somebody.
Great advice, man. Ready for the lightning round?
Yep.
Okay, let's do it. Inside out or outside in?
Outside in.
Tape, roller, or laser?
Laser.
Love it. Tablet, computer, or clipboard and pen?
Galaxy Note 8. Everything's on the Note 8.
Love it. Appraisal software?
Allen Mode, of course.
Favorite thing to do when you're not appraising, Jeff?
Spend time with the family.
You're like, when is that, right?
Yeah, that's an easy one. But spend time with the wife and kids, and it's feeling for everything.
Yeah, you got your priorities straight, man. And one goal for this year, Jeff?
One goal for this year would be take some pressure off me. Try to get an assistant or a VA, something to take some kind of pressure off of me so that I'm not feeling like I'm going to have a heart attack.
Well, I'd love to help you with that, my friend, and I think I can. So reach out to me if you don't mind. I really appreciate you taking time today. We've learned a great deal. You're a wise man that I think everybody who listened today learned a lot from, and I appreciate you taking the time, my friend.
Fabulous.
Perfect.
Thank you.
All right, Jeff. That was Jeff Dietschler. He's from Western Massachusetts. And folks, if you want to be a part of the Appraiser Stories, of the Appraiser podcast, please reach out to me or my assistant. You can send me an email at thecoach@theappraisercoach.com. You can reach out to me on Facebook, as Jeff did, being willing to come on. And or you could email my assistant, which is theassistant@theappraisercoach.com. We would love to have you on board. We've talked a little bit about the Appraiser Academy today, folks. We just changed the Appraiser Academy and gave you all kinds of access to, for example, the Go Create Some Value workshop, which is a $395 value, is now free. That's right, free for Appraiser Academy students. So, folks, if you're interested in being a part of a group that helps you to become better and to do more as a business owner, to be more successful, please reach out to us and join. Get on theappraisercoach.com/memberships. Again, it's theappraisercoach.com/memberships. Once again, thank you, Jeff, for joining us today. Can't wait to have more people on the show. So reach out to me and we'll set it up and have a great conversation together. Catch you next time, everybody.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit theappraisercoach.com and sign up for the All-Star team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.